What's popping? We're back at it one more time. We got to talk about this one. Hey, I know I broke rank and should have finished it off. Stuff happens. But we're gonna finish what needs to be finished right now. Digging into China Part 3, 1492. And where we're gonna first start is a little piece of information right here at a Nat Geo, and particularly about globes. And I'm gonna just take that link, copy, but I'm going to go back to that and I'm going to read that. I'm going to read that to y'all. 1 second, because that's nice. Okay. As y'all know, I can't stand bright screens. That's why the screen's never bright on my face. A globe is a three-dimensional scale of the Earth or round body. Because it is spherical, or ball shaped, it can represent surface features, directions, and distances more accurately than a flat map. Totally untrue. On the other hand, a globe may be less practical for travelers since globes are bulkier than flat maps and often carry less detailed information. A glo- how can you once again? Do y'all hear the contradict? Did y'all hear the contradiction as I read that? It says because it is spherical or ball shaped, it can represent surface features, directions, and distances more accurately than a flat map. How is that so? It's on a damn circle. How does it better reflect the distance? It doesn't even give you true understanding of distance because it's on a circle. Totally self-defeating. But then it goes on to say, on the other hand, a globe may be less practical for travelers, obviously, since globes are much bulkier than flat maps and often carry less detailed information. I think the detailed information part is the part that you need the most. So how can you represent surface features better, but then have less detailed information? Once again, y'all, they play these games with the people. They can't play them with me. They can play them with whoever. They can't play them with me. But look, the oldest known globe was made more than 2,100 years ago, so-called, by Crates of Malus, a Greek philosopher and geographer who lived in what is today Turkey. The oldest globe that survives to this day, it's about to get deep. The oldest globe that survives to this day was made by German geographer Martin Beheim or Behaim, however you want to say it, Beheim, though. I'm pretty sure that's how they say it. In 1492, just before Christopher Columbus sailed to the New World. Are y'all starting to hear where the whole globe shit came from? For real, for real? Let's skip the crates of malice, dude. Let's stop it. The oldest globe that survives was made by a German dude. Okay, we all know how close Germany, France, and Spain are. Okay, can you dig it? Going forth. In 1492, just what? Just before Christopher Columbus sailed to the New World. So the earth is a circle is a conspiracy. But let's go ahead and go back to my whole point now. We're gonna get it popping and talk about this shit. So when I say dig into China, I say that with all seriousness. But at the same time, I'm saying that to slight them because I know most people don't know what I just shared with y'all. Let's read that one more time just in case anybody thinks I'm mincing words. I'm going to read it straight up for what it says. A globe is a three-dimensional scale of the Earth or other round body. Because it is spherical or ball-shaped, it can represent surface features, directions, and distances more accurately than a flat map. On the other hand, a globe may be less practical for travelers, since globes are much bulkier than flat maps and often carry less detailed information. Okay, the oldest known globe was made more than 2,100 years ago by Crates of Malus, a Greek philosopher and geographer who lived in what is today Turkey. The oldest globe that survives to this day was made by German geographer Martin Behaim in 1492, just before Christopher Columbus sailed to the New World. This globe is more accurate than crates, but still leaves out North America, South America, Australia, and Antarctica. The Earth is not the only planet that has been mapped on the globe. In the past few decades, spacecraft have been tailored on the maps of surfaces of other planets and moons, globes. For some of them, such as the planet Mars and our own moon, are available for purchase. Even the night sky around the Earth, known as the celestial sphere, has been mapped out on the globe. Celestial globes represent stars and planets visible above certain parts of the Earth. Many constellations, such as the Big Dipper, are outlined into familiar shapes on celestial globes. Looking for patterns on celestial globes makes finding individual stars easier to spot. Sure, it does. Like most early terrestrial globes, most early terrestrial globes, most early celestial globes were made of metal. Metal globes are usually cast in two halves or hemispheres. These halves are then welded together with hot metal, creating a seam or raised line in the middle of the sphere. It is nearly impossible to create seamless globes that are made of a single piece of metal. Nevertheless, once again, they can't even make a globe of one piece, but they're trying to tell you the Earth is like that. Whatever. Nevertheless, astronomers and metalsmiths in what is today India and Pakistan created such celestial globes in the 1500s. An ancient type of globe is the armillary sphere. An armillary sphere has a mini globe of Earth surrounding by rings representing movement of visible stars and planets. The rings are adjustable so they reflect the stars and planets visible at different times in the year in different places on the globe. Before invention of the telescope, armillospheres armillary, excuse me, armillary, field, armillary spheres were the most important tools astronomers had. In fact, celestial globes and armillary spheres have long been used at least long as terrestrial globes, if not longer. Listen, Martin Behaim's 1492 globe is called the Ed is the Erdapfel, which means earth apple. It is so valuable, authorities in Germany keep it in a secret location to prevent damage and theft. Edgerpfeffel is now a German word for potato. At the time Behind made his globe, potatoes were unknown in Europe. Potatoes are native to North and South America, which hadn't yet been discovered by Europeans. Ain't that some stuff? Because the Irish tell you that they had a potato famine. Anyway, let's keep it talking though about this. Now that we have full understanding that these fools have been making circles for a long time that don't make sense, now let's talk about digging to China in 1492 and why that rolls right into this. Do you guys understand that they created all that for people to be confused by the idea that they were going to a whole nother part of the earth that was known about? Notice that his globe that they conveniently left off South, North America, Antarctica, all that stuff. But there's other maps before the globes, okay, that have all the hemispheres, that have all the landmass on the earth. So for them to even say that, oh, well, they didn't know about it, that's a lie. Because if they tell you that they know about it, then the idea that they know that people who were living there, right, or the possibility of life is even truer. We didn't just stumble upon it. We didn't just, oh, these people met us with hostilities or met us, and some were agreeable, some weren't. That's no, 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 no. Digging to China means we got to create some bullshit in order for you to think that you can even dig there. Note the fact that before this, they can say about whatever other globes, but all the other people, the whole point that Columbus went out was to prove that the earth was not flat. I'm telling y'all right now that the earth is level with dilapidation. That being said, it's the, you don't build a house on a circle. When you stand, you don't stand on a circle. You stand on flat, level land. So I'm not gonna entertain things that just don't make sense. But like I'm talking about though, digging to China, right? 1492 style. So according to them, these guys could have once again, If you just listen to their logic, they should have been dug to China. Right. If in 1492 you figured the earth was a circle, why don't they have underground trains everywhere? Right? Water trains, all kinds, like why don't they have them? It doesn't make sense, y'all. It makes no sense. Right. People are like, well, how would they do the water stuff? If the earth is a circle like they're saying it is, at some point it has to stop. Right. They're saying that there are no abysses. They don't believe in those. They're saying those are biblical terms that are unfounded. Okay. Since there's no true real abysses, that means that there has to be a bottom somewhere. Right. You see what I'm saying? Everything that they say goes against itself. The fact that they can show you bodies of water on the circle, right? Listen, did anybody other than me catch the part where it said that almost all the globes are two pieces, especially when they're metal? Did and back then they were almost always primarily metal. Did anybody other than me catch that? Because I'm saying if somebody other than me caught that, and I'm sure they did, then we have to look at it from a critical point of view. We can't just say, hey, all right, well, these guys are supposed to be so-called geniuses of the time. These so-called same geniuses of the time would later on have children down the line who said that people who had a certain physical description were only three-fifths of a person. They're not that intelligent. That's wickedness. It takes no intelligence to be wicked. None. All you have to do is be conniving and have the conviction to see it through. That's it. But it takes no real anything to be wicked. So that being said, I'm not going to sit here and pat somebody on the back for getting the best of black people. Right on. But at the same time, I'm also not going to be what I think is a victim of poor information and misinformation and disinformation. Same guys who will say that the earth is a circle can't explain to me what I just said. So why don't you live on a bubble? So why is the ground and everything leveled? Huh? Why does it need to be as flat as it can be for it to be comfortable? Make that make sense. Make it make sense. For real. Because nothing that they say is going to add up. There used to be a saying, what is it like 50 cent and a black man's word don't make a dollar, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's something like that. It's some racist stuff like that. Right. But that's how I be feeling about their logic. Their logic plus two quarters does not make a dollar. You can believe that. And so I'm always pressed. I feel more that is just people being willfully ignorant than it is anything else because they're too uncomfortable to challenge. So it's easy to ask for reparations. I mean, they're begging. You feel me? They're high class begging. What I want, like I said, what I'm going to get, they can't give me. They're not able to give me. They're not willing to give me. So it don't matter. And ain't nobody going to tell me what my struggle is worth. You see what I'm saying? If they think their struggle is worth $1 billion, let them take $1 billion. Mine is worth $1 trillion. Everybody who rocks with me on that level knows that their struggle is worth $1 trillion. We're here to bankrupt the earth for so many future generations. Everybody owes us. I don't care about nothing else. Me, my Negro League jacket, and my Negro League jersey say so. Okay? That's how I'm feeling. And these suckers will try to tell you anything, but they ain't dug the China yet. There are no true subterranean trains that will take you from one state to the next. Think about that. I mean, that should have been done. When they made the Transcontinental Railroad, they should have made another one that was underground. Literally, literal underground railroad. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. They want everybody to believe that the earth is a giant ass circle. And they had so many years to prove their point where the the from like one point to the other, right? We done fully, photographed it or videoed it after so many, decades and generations of trying to get it right. We done finally proved to people that we can dig from one side of the earth to the other. And it's an action, and it's truly a straight line. Right on. We went to the opposite side where this place is supposed to be, and we dug straight through. Right. They're saying that the earth has a crust and all this other extra shit. So just dig on the crust if you have to, but prove your point though. Don't just tell me and my people the earth is a fucking bubble. I'm tired of that. And I'm tired of everybody acting like, like the one thing that people will try to shit on Kyrie for. And I'm not a Muslim or nothing like that. And I don't have nothing against Muslims other than the fact that their religion was created during the Common Era. And it was created even after this dude named Clovis, who's a Christian convert, a Franc Christian convert, who took over all the Germanic type tribes and united them, right? They come after him. So I have to question, like, how are you more valid than people, individuals who can't even prove they're people, right? How are you more valid than them and you come after them? And they're straight up converts and y'all are claiming to be originals. So, I take all that stuff with, like a grain of salt, but my point is this. I don't knock them for believing what they believe, right? But I know what I believe. And I know that my God told me that there's corners on the earth. So people want to be under the perception that they live on a giant bubble so badly. They so badly want to believe that. It's just like people want to believe that because a doctor prescribes it to you, that that's better than somebody who actually lives around you, who's just telling you to change the way that you eat things, change your level of activity, and try to change the way that you think. But they're not receptive to that information, so they're not hearing none of that. You feel me? They can't even take that into their mind and say, you know what, that makes sense. You got me there, chief. You right. No, what they'll do is they'll try to push back, push back, push back. And as opposed to them just analyzing the information just at face value, right on. Like, look at it. So, if you really live on a circle and it's floating through what they say is outer space and it's gravitating around the sun and all this other stuff, right? Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I've never seen anything other than the moon in the Earth's atmosphere. Never. That's all I've ever seen. I've never seen Mars. Nothing. I've only ever seen the moon. If they want to try to tell you that that thing that's out in the sky in the morning is Mars or something else, they're lying. That's the moon. Right. They want you to believe that's not the moon. Because as long as you believe their story, that that's a floating orb, that's a different planet, you're always going to be perceptive to those types of things. And you'll never question what they've laid out in front of you. Once again, I think it's awkward that people will say that the white man wrote the Bible, but they told you that the earth is a fucking circle and you don't push back on that at all, but you'll push back on the Bible. Think about that logic for a moment. That makes absolutely zero sense. And when you put it to even more face value, right? See, this is why, their favorite dudes are, the B word, straight up bitches. They know they are because these dudes are too afraid to say the real. Because if they say the real, they're going to lose a lot of their audience because most of their audience are brainwashed zombies. Okay, they're individuals who are not capable of long range, long term thought, and they're definitely not capable of thinking by themselves. Just because you put your socks on and dress yourself and can get into a piece of witchcraft and navigate it doesn't mean you're thinking for yourself. You could be programmed to do all those things and don't even realize it. This is why when they say, "Oh, dress nice, dress up, do this," they're doing that because they're programmed to do that. Very few people dress nice because they want to actually just look nice. You know how I know that there's very few people who do that? Because there's very few people with their own style. Most people will dress with what they think is in style. That means that they're programmed. They can't think for themselves. So the same people who are like that can't see that the earth might not be a fucking circle, a big ass bubble. I know that's hard to believe, right? But as I read to y'all earlier, a globe, they say, can give you a more accurate, detailed type of way of seeing one locale to another. But then it will flip and then say that a flat level map, that a straight up map is typically has more information, more detailed information. It's a contradictory. They so badly want things that don't make sense to make sense. It's kind of like, you know, individuals think that you should let a child change the formation of the genitalia. Clearly, these individuals have no good sense. But once again, these are the same people that think the earth is a bubble. So, what do I expect? These dudes are mentally ill. I bet you look, go find people who think that the earth is flat and ask them how many of them do they think, ask how many people who think the earth is flat, ask them how many people they think should be transsexuals. I bet you almost none of them. There might be some outliers who were just, weirdos or whatever, wicked or whatever. But I'm talking about the straight up real life, like people who think that the earth is level with some dilapidation, right? With some change of elevation here or there, but it's level for the most part. And it has corners and it's built on pillars. For the people who believe that, I bet you none of them think that a child changing their so-called sex is healthy, nor does it make sense. I put some money on that. See, and these are the kind of I'm the person to say it. I'm not going to normalize your wickedness. I I seen some crazy shit today. I seen two dudes who I thought were kinfolk. These dudes is gay, but these dudes look like they could be related. And then they was like, you know what they say, dating spouses or something like that. And I'm like, man, y'all ain't shit for that. And they giggle, but I'm thinking in my head, for real, like these dudes ain't shit for that. These dudes fuck around and for real be like related or some shit. Probably are and know it. It's crazy. And I bet you they think the earth is this damn circle. A big ass bubble. I put some money on that. Right. It to me, it seems that we're dealing with, you know, a disconnect in cultures. See, we have a culture of people now who believe that it's okay to go against things that were established and were trusted for thousands of years. Tried and true methods. And now we have these individuals who, they want to go against that. And they want to try to find a new way to do things that have already been established. As opposed to eating real food, they'd rather take a tablet, right? As opposed to actually getting sun on their body, they'd rather take a tablet or a vitamin, a capsule, whatever, right? See what I'm saying? As opposed to actually getting out and walking around, they'd rather take a tablet. You see what I'm saying? Right. I could keep going on and on and on about how they want to medicate themselves with something as opposed to doing the actual work to get to that same level. So lazy, so unskilled, or just so unwilling to engage that they'd rather do the bare minimum and say that this bare minimum is actually the totality of a whole bunch of hard work. So I shouldn't have to work hard anymore. This is their thinking. This is their logic. I didn't ask them to think like that. I didn't tell them to think like that. I don't encourage people to go around thinking like that. What I'm saying is that you have to accept, you have to acknowledge, and you have to appreciate what it is that people tell you and how much you see. If a person tells you that they're not crazy, watch all the signs to see that they are not crazy. So-called not crazy being that they don't lose their cool virtually never. So-called not crazy that they keep their calm under the most questionable situations where it's like Like uh like when children become unruly, they don't become unruly with the children or threatening or violent or aggressive, right? They are truly a patient person. So we're having disconnects. We're having friction these days because people are not at that level. They're not at that. They're not they don't have all that. You see what I'm saying? Like once again, they believe that the totality of someone else's work means that they don't have to do anything and that they can go against thousands of years of established ways of living. They've done more destruction in 200 years. No matter how you want to put this, think about this again, y'all. We're not leaving just yet. In the matter of less than 200 years, they've managed to destroy the earth so much so that she's on the brink of destruction. Right. And they've done all this. And if they say that the earth is 8 billion years old, just terrible. But if we're saying that the earth is just a little over 10,000 years old, might be pushing 12, we're saying that's still shameful. But right. And the earth's short existence, you've managed to bring it to the brink in this little period of time. So we can't let people get off the hook. And, you know, just just to speak about the globe, and just to bring it all home, you have this concept where people will tell you, well, this is the way it is, right? But just because somebody tells you something, don't make it right. And and I'm gonna give you guys a prime example. Uh, you go to a store, you buy an item, the item rings up at a price that the representative thinks is too low for that item. So they call it in, right? And you're like, look, this is what the price says. I need to get it for this. They go through all this trouble just to find out that indeed, right, this is the price, as opposed to just letting it go for that in the first place. This is how people who have to be shown that the earth is not a bubble is. Show me somebody who has a house that's built on a round foundation, a circle bubble foundation. Show me somebody that lives like that. I want to see it. Right on? I want to see it. And then I'll believe what these people are saying. Just because I conform to the idea that I have to have money in order to do anything doesn't mean that I believe what I was told. It doesn't mean that I'm going to shirk all my beliefs. Just because everything they do in this society is anti the Most High God doesn't mean I'm going to be anti the Most High God. Right. Everything they say is meant to go against him and is meant to try to act like he's not who he is. But they're the only ones trying to prove that to themselves. I'm not trying to prove that to anybody or anyone. I'm trying to show people, hey, this is it. This is all that they get. They don't get another chance to make it right. You see what I'm saying? They don't get another chance to make it right. When it's over, it's over. And because we're living in an environment that tells us if you do not conform, there's something wrong with you. This is why you have people who sell dope who don't understand you don't have to sell dope to make money. But they're too stingy, too greedy, crab in a barrel and a bucket mentality where once one starts to get up, another one pulls them down. See what I'm saying? So this is why we can't trust these individuals who claim to be something that they're not. Right. Okay, let me give y'all a prime example of how not circular the earth is. The truest heroes that you love, unless you're talking about somebody from antiquity, most of the heroes were not people that had a lot of money. That's what made them even more heroic. Right. If Martin Luther King wasn't born into the situation he was born into, and then couldn't understand and perceive the economic deprivation that his people were uh were uh were pigeonholed, sequestered into, right? Were cornered into, then it's like people can't understand, like, yo, they didn't have no money. Malcolm X didn't have a bunch of money. None of your favorite people like that had a bunch of money. Right. The people with a bunch of money typically aren't trying to get you what you deserve because they feel like I had to work for it, nigga, you will work for it. Not realizing that circumstances are not the same for every person. I understand that there's people who don't sell dope in the hood, but there's people who have outlets that other people don't have. Right on? So this guy sells dope, but he only sells dope because his mother is a fiend. Or you follow what I'm saying? And his daddy's not around because he's dead or in jail, or he's just not around because it didn't work with his mother. And he might not have abandoned his family, but the lady might have made the situation untenable. So now here goes this young man. He's forced, or this young woman forced into a life that they otherwise would not be involved in. This other person's circumstances doesn't force them into that life. There's more stability, and that 2% or 3% more structural stability is all it takes sometimes for a person to be steered in a greater righteous direction. I'm not excusing people who fall by the wayside and end up becoming the exact gremlins and goblins and ghouls that we have to look out for every single day that we go out and we gad about. So when I say what I'm saying, I stand on solid foundation that anybody who believes that the earth is a circle, right, are the same people who think that you don't need reparations. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. If a white dude thinks the earth is flat, you can float reparations to him way easier than somebody that thinks the earth is a circle. Right. Want to know why? Because that's not out the range of making things right. He already or she already acknowledges that this makes more sense. So what makes sense to do is obviously not going to be far from their mind. Even if they can't go out and voice that openly, even if there's not going to be anybody to listen to them when they do voice it. You have too many people who are in a situation where they're forced to accept things that they really don't believe, or they're forced to practice things that they really don't believe. You know, I laugh that there's guys who tell me, yeah, I believe in God, but they eat shrimp and all this other nasty stuff. I'm talking about, and they eat it on a regular. Pork, all this other nasty stuff, they eat it on a regular. But they'll tell you how good God is, how He's been blessing them, and it's just like, right? Same people probably believe the Earth is a circle. Don't y'all think it's funny that there's more people who believe that the Most High God's word be true, that the Earth has corners, and they really do believe in the laws of Moses, that they believe you're not supposed to do certain things? Isn't it funny how that works? Right. Just like the heroes who understood that we don't have anything. So we have to go up against, this pretty much unbeatable machine and see where we can get with it. And you have people right now who are claiming that they're doing more work or have made greater strides than the people who laid down the foundation and their lives to go with it so they could even make those audacious claims, treacherous claims of ill-fated, self-aggrandizing conjecture and hyperbolic foolery. Almost said a whole nother word. I get tired of it. If the earth was really a circle, MLK would have never marched. He just would have accepted what he was told. Right. When you can't accept things that you're being told and you're looking at it, like once again, like I said, they'll say that the white man wrote the Bible. The same white man told you that the earth is a damn circle. And nowhere in the Bible, the circle of the earth, meaning the freaking firmament. You can put something squared around something square. I mean, certain circle around something square, and vice versa. Why can't we live on a flat, level plane with some elevation and dilapidation that has a circular force field around it? Why is that impossible to believe? And the force field is to keep the water from falling on us. Right. Thank you. They don't even understand. Like they sound completely ill. However, they don't think that's water above us. I know that's water above us. That's why the air looks the way that it does, and that's why the sky looks the way that it does. Right. Because that's water up there. I don't question the things that make the most sense. I encourage people to look at it a certain way. They don't have to agree with me. They could be in here getting a inglorious bastard on where the dude who's supposed to be the fewer was like 99999. You could be in here telling me no, 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 nigga, you're wrong. You don't know shit. Man, shut up. You could be doing all that at your house. I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you this much right here. If you really truly believe that the earth is a circle, why is your house not built? Why is the home that you live in, the apartment you live in, why is it not built on a circular foundation, on a bubble foundation? Everything about that premise, the fact that trees grow out the ground, right? And they have to grow a certain way. If the earth was really a circle, why don't trees just grow any old kind of way on a hill? Why will they fall down, right? Don't tell me gravity. The earth is forever rotating and moving. You're telling me that the earth is doing all that, but it can't find a way to keep the trees rooted because they'll fall over if they're not planted a certain way on a more level plane. How that work? Right. See what I'm saying? They want y'all to believe things that don't make any sense. The house on the hill is not built within the hill, it's built on the top of it, where there's some level type of plane where they can make it more level. If it's not, we are we are around and we are in a time. It's so dangerous because, people might think that I'm tripping. They might be like, man, this nigga don't know what he's talking about. But it's like, yo, tell these dudes to dig to China. They so smart. Man, they got all this technology, man. They should be able to get through any kind of gas pocket, any kind of heat pocket. All that shit shouldn't matter. It shouldn't even matter. It shouldn't even equivalent to nothing. They should be able to get there, but they haven't. And I'm not even just saying dig to China. I'm just talking about any places that are supposed to be on the opposite side of, from one spot to the other. So technically, if you look at the globe, it's here. And then you look at this other spot and it's here. Okay, dig to them. Right. Dig to it. Based on what they're saying, water should just fall right through. Right. Water should fall through the other side of the earth. If what they're saying is true, and if what they're saying is really true, the super physics of the earth will keep all that water intact and they'll be able to drill a hole right through. Tell them to make it make sense, man. I'm tired of them lying to the people. I'm tired of them acting like people have to accept being lied to. I look, just like Moses told Pharaoh, man, let my people go. Right on. That's how I feel, man. Let my people go. We want to leave. I know the realest of the real want to leave. They don't want to stay here. There's nothing left here but grandiose entertainment. That's it. They're giving this land over to individuals who couldn't even build up their own countries. That's going to be the fall of America, is that they're going to have handed over the nation to individuals who were incapable of rendering economical, political, legislative, medicinal, and overall security to their own nations and to their own people. Right on. And they had to come to another place where the only reason why it's built up like this and all the other places are built up like this is because they are beneficiaries of slavery. No matter how passive their role may have seemed, they are a direct beneficiary, a primary beneficiary of chattel slavery. And it's the only reason why they have even a little bit. That being said, that being told to the people, I don't get mad at y'all for doing what you have to do. Right on? I don't get mad at y'all for feeling the way that you feel. Because you feel like because you earned that car that you're in, you earned that house that you stay in, you earned it. You put the time in, you put the work in. So you're convinced that that's how things have always been. But this country's on the brink of destruction. And all your hard work is going to have been for naught. It'll mean absolutely nothing in the end. Think about that. So don't let these guys fool you and don't let them tell you just any old thing just because they want you to believe it. On this note, we're going to go back and we're going to look at some stuff again so that way people can understand what I'm saying. The oldest globe that survives to this day was made by German geographer, geographer Martin Beheim in 1492, just before Christopher Columbus sailed to the New World. Stop right there. What does that sound like to y'all other than a conspiracy? All these groups conspired to come to the New World so they could take it over, so they could do what? So they could set it up to have black people who were known as the children of Israel at that time to be sent here. Yeah, digging to China gets deep. That's why they never dug there. But while they had black people to do all the other foolery that they had niggas engaging in. They could have had them digging to China and they didn't. And you're telling me that we wouldn't be more than halfway there or just about all the way there at this point? The same way that they had the Transcontinental Railroad, they could have literally had China or some other part over there in the East, India, whatever. They all could have got together and been like, we're going to meet in the middle or we're going to see who gets to who first. Right. All warfare would be fought like that if it was just straight up like that. Nobody would ever have to sail to your coast. They would just pull up underground and just pop up from the fucking middle of the earth out of nowhere. And it would be, that would be the main defense, would be, guarding things from the middle of the earth so that way you couldn't be surprised like that. But instead, you're worried about air, land, and sea. The same thing that people were worried about a long time ago. Arrows come from where? That's right, the air. Soldiers are where? Typically on the ground, along with all their other devices of war. What's at the sea? A navy. And the navy back in, the ancient days when they would besiege cities, let's say this is before cannons, you know, uh, it was all vicious. It was nasty. It was nasty. All right. Because now we're talking about uh people shooting old school grappling hooks, trying to rip down walls, having men trying to tear down walls of a city. You know what I'm saying? Hoping that the wind is on your favor, is in your favor. They'll never put this kind of shit in the movie because they don't want people to know what kind of savage shit these dudes, the ancestors, our ancestors, and some of their ancestors. We're talking about niggas and white folks and all. Yeah, Nigs and Gentiles alike, Nigtiles and all that stuff alike, all of them getting down and dirty, getting straight all the way grimy with it. And people can't perceive that, so they don't. Anyway, but I'm just saying, y'all just don't realize, man, these people want us to think what they want us to think. They'll tell you about a globe that was back in 2100 BC with no proof of the globe. Then go on to say that the oldest globe known to date right now was made in 1492, shortly before Columbus sailed out, made by a German dude. Now, if we get all to the history of who those people are, we understand what was really going on. But like I said, you have to look at it from a pragmatic point of view. You have to look at it like the Crusades just ended, a couple of generations before all this. Europe is in a financial decline. When they go out, they have to see the land. And then once they put into effort, this is why they didn't start slavery back in the 14 and 1500s, because they had to make sure that everything was set up a certain way. So when niggas got here, they could totally take the land over and that it was going to be a place. So listen, you're in a land where we're far removed from our borders, right on? Any land over there in so-called Africa and the Middle East is close to our home. So obviously we had to be removed all the way. There's a particular tribe of people or other. Do I believe that other tribes were mixed up with the tribe? Yes. But there's a particular tribe called Judah, whatever you want to say, right? That are spread and dispersed to the four corners of the earth. Now, I ain't never seen a circle with a damn corner on it. Never. Never seen it. And I know that's where my people are at. All four corners of the earth. So this is why I'm always hard pressed to believe what folks say. Because I'm coming at it from a point of view where it's like you don't have to believe what I said. The Romans pushed the so-called Jews out of Judea. And the people who call themselves Jews to this day, their history is not aligned with that. Because they were still in Judea the whole time the Crusades happened and all that. Those dudes was there the whole time. Right. So don't let these motherfuckers try to fool you, man. Right. They were never moved off far from the borders, none of that type of shit. You know how they got pushed up out the land officially? Like, like really? You know how they really got pushed up out the land? It's because they allowed for the Turkish Empire, the Ottoman Turk Empire, to be disbanded. But before that, they had free access, free reign to all the land over there. Now, all that shit was set up for the so-called trying to show people that they were the chosen ones. All that shit is manufactured. Even though people will call it manufactured, they won't say that the earth being a circle is manufactured. How convenient that the first globe didn't have North or South America on it or Antarctica or none of that shit. That's convenient for them. Because that means that, oh, we didn't know, we discovered it. That's, I mean, anybody with an operating mind can understand that guy's that ploy, right on? That fucking piece of shit move right there. I'm not with that. That's wickedness. That's not wisdom. That's not, anyway. All you have to do is be conniving and have some conviction. That's it. And you can be wicked. It takes very little skills to be wicked. Right on? As long as you can live with yourself, being wicked is not that hard to do. So uh it's not like somebody who helped pay somebody's rent and their finances are just fine. And at night you know what I'm saying? Like they're stewing and brewing, like, man, I should have never done that for. That's wickedness. Right on? A truly righteous person ain't even thinking about it. They're like, man, I'm glad I helped that person. And they move on. You feel me? And they move on. They don't try to do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I don't want to hurt nobody, but I damn sure don't want nobody trying to hurt me. And if you try to, I'm gonna do my best to make you feel that hey, look, This is where we're at. We with people that are just they just mentally gone, man. They don't get it. Like you've been lied to your whole life. You'll tell people that you've been lied to your whole life. One of the, if not the greatest lie, right on. You'll once again say that the white man wrote the Bible and push back on it with all, and that they say that they stole it from Egypt. Do y'all realize that those Egyptians believed in an ultimate God? Apparently, unless you're saying that that was mistranslated and it's all wrong, right? Those Egyptians believed in a true singular um, God who is very real, and he is infinite in power, but finite in his being, as in there's only him. There's not anybody else. There's not infinite understanding to who he is. There's one way to understand him, and it's the way that he teaches you to. So when you have people who try to imply or try to say things that just don't match, we have to look at it from a point of view of what's their angle. You know, what do they stand to gain from this? If they stand to gain anything at all, and if they do stand to gain something, you know, is it so great that they'd be willing to betray the people? You know, their own people and just the people of the earth, and not even just the people, but the Gentiles on the earth, right? Are they willing to get individuals to believe something that's so untrue, so unfounded, that if we looked at it from a certain point of view and we looked at it a certain way, we would all be forced to say, man, something not right about that. Something is just not right. Like maybe it's the fact that they're trying to tell people that a guy just sold out of nowhere, sold to a place. One of the places where to this day the Spanish have, you know, critical control over the land, or people from Spanish bloodlines. And they want folks to believe, or they want folks to have in their minds that there's some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? They want people to believe that just because this man stumbled into Central America, into the islands there, that that proves that the Earth is a circle. How does that even make fucking sense? Like, I mean, somebody break that down to me. And I'm the only one to push back on this. I'm gonna be the only one because I am the only one that cares about these types of things. Me and my Negro League jacket. These are the Seattle Steelheads. This is a baseball team way back in the day. Neither here nor there. My first time wearing it. Figured that this was a special enough occasion. That's how epic I feel like this actually is. Is that the 1492, just the I mean, people don't realize there's no need for me to get carried away about these characters. I've already gotten carried away about the Francs many and many and many and many and many times. Just so happens that all these individuals that I just brought up are either Spanish, right? Related to the Francs. Yes, they are. Yes. The Germans, clearly related to the Francs. They believe that Christopher Colombo was not actually Spanish, but Italian. Yes, related to the Francs. Y'all see where this is going? Hmm. Right. That's why you can't take anything that they say too serious. Because they want you to believe what they want you to believe. They told us that we were three-fifths of a person and tried to make us to believe it. They told us we didn't have souls and tried to make us to believe it. They said, not me, right on, that it's cheaper to buy another nigga than it is to treat him with a little bit of care and dignity that he might heal. Let that sink in. They'd rather let you die and buy another person than to help you. Let that sink in. And they want you to believe that the earth is a fucking circle just because they told you. Them same people. Brothers and sisters, before I roll out, I just need y'all to think about this. Well, I said one that's good. It's called Woodford Reserve, double oaked. Mm-hmm. Man, I love doing this. I'm just waiting, y'all. Court next Friday, May the 5th. Then I got court on the 12th, and then court again on the 15th. You ready? It's 5 years in the making, y'all. It's been 5 years. I know, right? It don't even seem like that, huh? It's been 5 years in the making. And I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to waver. The wicked flee when none pursueth. And I ain't running nowhere. Ain't hiding, ain't doing nothing like that. I feel blessed to be here. I hope y'all feel blessed to be here. Every day you wake up, you're winning. And every day you don't realize you're winning, you're losing. Because that means that you haven't looked at the blessing of life and given it full thought, that the fact that you exist still is everything that truly matters. Blessed be the Most High God, the God of Abraham, the God of Noah, the God of Seth, the God who made Adam, and the God who made the first man before Adam. Hallelujah. That he be worshiped and praised. And that as he told me, written in the book by his prophets, his outstanding, amazing prophets, unto whom I have no reason to believe that the creator of heaven and earth would lie to. That when he told them that the earth was built on pillars, he meant it. That when he said that the earth had corners, he meant it. That when he said that people can go into the earth, he meant it. Blessed be the Most High God. May you begin to understand that because of the Most High God, I know what I know. For no other reason do I know what I know. Let that sink in. For no other reason do I know what I know. I learned these things. I learned certain things growing up, but the Most High God has revealed everything to me in my pursuit to seek his face. Because I know I could never look upon his face, but to get into his presence, that it could even be an idea to look his way is such an amazing thing to me that only death itself is going to stop me from seeing it while I yet live in the flesh. That he will have to send a circumstance that is so great that I have no time to think of a way out and no time to defend myself, no time to remove myself from harm's way, whatever it may be, a speeding vehicle, a lightning strike, whatever, anything. Just blessed be the Most High God. He is so amazing. And may people begin to see that in 1492, they began their real plot against the people that they call the Afro people. I've already broken this down to y'all before, but just so that way you can see that they were in lockstep with one another. That the same year that Columbus claimed that the earth was a circle, that they had already made a globe in Germany to try to back this claim up, but a claim that was baseless because it's not proof. Just because you go somewhere does not prove your claim. It doesn't make the claim true. Brothers and sisters, I salute you. I salute you again. I salute you once more. May tomorrow be better than today. And may your next week be better than your last. We are dealing with individuals who would rather die than tell the truth. Let that sink in, brothers and sisters. So that means that you will have to tell the truth and not be afraid of the consequences when you do.